Shabbat Shalom. I would like to dedicate my words this week to the loving memory of Dr. Jeffrey Nye, our beloved congregant who passed away recently. Jeff had an interesting way of looking at this week's Torah portions. This week, we read not one, but two action-packed Torah portions filled with as much possible knowledge as any one human being could want about skin ailments. That's right. Various skin ailments, varying in color, varying in what it is that's coming out from them, varying in what they look like and how they change over time, whether or not there's hair growing from. It is some significantly gross stuff. We could read it in a modern context and think about what on earth were they thinking about. But Jeff had an interesting way of looking at these Torah portions. To him, it was the first attempt at a modern healthcare system. The people were, rightfully so, freaked out about ailments that they couldn't explain. Hey, look, that still happens today. And so when they were freaked out about these ailments, their first and only response was literally to separate people from the community. That's how they dealt with it. It was, to be sure, a crude first attempt. But at least there seems to be an understanding that, one, sometimes there are things that might be contagious, but two, also, sometimes there may be people who need to be protected by the community. Or, in reverse, sometimes people need to protect the community as well. So you see, when we look at it in that context, it may not have been the best first attempt, but it was that. And when you think about it, our Torah is full of first attempts. First attempts to create a holiness code. First attempts to create a justice code. It's easy for us to look thousands of years later and say, this was wrong, that was wrong, how could they have done that? And I do it all the time, don't get me wrong. But in reality, if we can take a step back and take a much broader view, a much longer view, we can see that much of the nuttiness that we see in our Torah is in fact the basis for some of the things that are the cornerstones of our society today. And when viewed that way, I think we see once again that our Torah is just as relevant today as it was thousands of years ago. Shabbat Shalom.